Hi, my name is Bruce, and you and I have something in common: sleep apnea. And we're not alone. The fact is, more than 20 million Americans share this problem that's even more widespread than asthma in the adult population. The good news is, everything's gonna be okay. And I'm here to let you know why. Of course, now that you've been fitted with your DeVilbiss CPAP unit, you might be saying to yourself, "You've got to be kidding me. I'm gonna be wearing this to bed every night?" I know what you're thinking, because it wasn't that long ago that I started my own CPAP therapy. And trust me, at first, I had some serious doubts about this whole thing. But let me tell you, I don't anymore. And I'm confident you won't either once you experience just how much better you'll feel, physically and emotionally, when you start wearing your CPAP regularly. After all, who doesn't want to live a happier and healthier life? Take it from me, the more you know about sleep apnea and CPAP, the easier it is to get with the program and follow your doctor's treatment recommendations. It won't be long before you'll be using your machine with confidence, just like I do, with no anxiety or embarrassment. I can only say that day will come sooner than you think. You just need to stick with it. So let me share with you what I've learned about this disorder and its potential consequences on our health. For starters, obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, is a physical blockage of the upper airway, often from excess tissue in the throat area, that prevents air from getting into our lungs. As the muscles here begin to relax, air is forced through a narrow opening, and that's where loud snoring comes from. Sleep apnea deprives our heart, brain, and other organs from receiving oxygen, as our breathing temporarily stops for up to a whole minute while we're sleeping. I was shocked to learn these breathing interruptions could occur up to hundreds of times each night. It's no wonder I could never fall into a deep sleep and never truly felt refreshed when I woke up. Sound familiar? I don't know about you, but I was often feeling drowsy and irritable the next day. Plus, I do a lot of driving, and on more than one occasion, I almost fell asleep at the wheel. That was pretty scary. What's more, if we don't treat our sleep apnea, research shows that people like you and me would be at a much higher risk for developing high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, and memory loss. By following your CPAP therapy at home and even when you travel, chances are you can reduce these risks. For all these reasons and more, it's important to wear your CPAP as recommended to protect your health. Oh, by the way, alcohol and weight gain can make your apnea worse. As a result, your CPAP pressure may need to be adjusted. Okay, enough about the problem. Now what are we going to do about it? Our doctors recommended the DeVilbiss CPAP. They did their job, now we have to do ours. We have to make the decision to follow their treatment regimens, which, as I mentioned right at the beginning, it seems a bit overwhelming. For me, I knew I had to keep an open mind, realizing that anything new, including CPAP therapy, takes a period of adjustment. I started out where you're at today, concerned I couldn't do this for any length of time. But that's no longer a worry of mine. In fact, I can't imagine sleeping without it, because I know how fatigued I feel the next day if I don't use it. I admit, though, that when I got my CPAP unit, I was a little embarrassed and worried what my wife would think when I put this mask on. I also worried about her ability to fall asleep with the sound of the noise coming from the mask. But most of all, I asked myself, how will I ever sleep wearing this? Now let me guess. You've been asking yourself the same things, right? I'd be surprised if you weren't. Just about everyone has these thoughts. The good news is, recent studies show that CPAP actually improves the quality of life for couples. It has for me, and I'm living proof that your bed partner will rest better without hearing you snore or gasp for breath during the night. In fact, research indicates that bed partners of CPAP users sleep better too. They also wake up feeling more rested and alert. Don't forget though, just as you need to adjust to using your CPAP, your bed partner may need a period of acclimation as well. If there's some adjustment problems at the start, you can suggest your spouse goes to bed before you. The great news is, the DeVilbiss CPAP is extremely quiet, so chances are, if your bed partner is asleep when you turn on the machine, both of you won't wake up until morning. And don't even give a second thought to how it looks. My wife was the one to help me get over this. She good-naturedly reminded me that I looked just fine when her eyes were closed and she was falling asleep, overjoyed at not having to hear me snore anymore. All kidding aside, it's the rare exception, not the rule, when a spouse, significant other, or family member isn't supportive of your CPAP therapy. Because never forget, they only want what's best for you, and hopefully you'll want the same, even though your CPAP therapy may not seem to be what's best at the start. I can remember being somewhat surprised by my reaction to the rush of air and the feeling of having my face covered the first few times I wore the mask. So here's a tip that helped me overcome my initial anxiety, and it will work for you too. Gradually ease yourself into therapy. Attach your mask to the CPAP machine and turn it on. Practice breathing through the mask while watching TV, reading, or even surfing the internet. While you're doing this, practice this simple relaxation exercise. First, take a few big, deep cleansing breaths and release the tension from your body. Place the mask on your face as you turn on the CPAP unit. Close your eyes and clear your mind of all thoughts. Keep your lips closed but not tensed while you let the air pressure fill the back of your throat. Think of your upper airway being kept open by the pressure. Breathe with it, not against it. Continue to breathe evenly and slowly as you focus on staying relaxed. Once this becomes second nature to you, try using your CPAP and mask while you nap. I can remember waking up after one of these very restful naps thinking, hey, I'm ready to try this in bed. For the first week or so, I would use my CPAP during the first 3 to 4 hours of nighttime sleep. From then on, I was able to sleep with my mask on throughout the entire night. Also, the DeVilbiss CPAP has a delay feature that runs the machine at a lower pressure and slowly ramps up to your prescribed pressure. This delay in prescribed pressure may allow you to fall asleep more easily. Keep in mind that everyone is different, so don't feel the need to rush the process. Look to take the next step about every 5 days, longer if you need to, and shorter if you can get through the step without feeling anxious. Don't be hard on yourself, because virtually everyone can get through this period of adjustment with a little patience and a positive attitude. Believe me when I say, this is something you can do. If you're not satisfied with your progress during this period of adjustment, don't lose hope. Consult with your doctor or clinician about other strategies that might be available to you. And remember, you are not alone. There are local support groups sponsored by the American Sleep Apnea Association, where you can learn more and talk with others who have sleep apnea. Visit their website, sleepapnea.org, for additional useful information and to locate a group near you. From my experience, though, I think you'll be able to get comfortable with your CPAP without having to seek outside assistance. Here are some other tips for improving your sleep. Get yourself on a regular schedule by going to bed and waking up at the same times. Yes, even on the weekends. Establish the same routine each night. Brush your teeth, then read, then fall asleep. If you're sleepy, go to bed. Try to avoid heavy meals, alcohol, caffeine, and nicotine late in the evening. That's a good idea even if you didn't have sleep apnea. You'll also want to set the mood in your bedroom for sleep. Keep it dark and cool. Oh, and try to limit your TV watching while in bed. Before I let you go, here's a little more food for thought about your apnea and CPAP therapy. I call it the circle of success. Research indicates that regular CPAP usage will result in you having more energy, and that could lead to weight loss, which has been proven to reduce your apnea symptoms. Plus, your concentration, memory, and alertness improve with a good night's sleep, and you just generally get more out of life. So keep this in mind as you work your way through the initial adjustment period. The results are well worth the effort. I tell you, CPAP is going to change your life forever, and for the better. It did for me, and it will for you. Soon you'll be having a great night's sleep, and a healthy one too.